Hey class, it's Mr. Dow. Just wanted to run over what's going to happen in week number 4 with you. Now, week number 4 for this course is pretty pivotal because up till now we've just had really introductory exercises and short essays that are explaining the different literary terms to you to help you with literary analysis. But every assignment has been fairly minor. Starting this week, we'll begin the work towards producing paper number 1. And paper number 1 will probably take us maybe 3 to 4 weeks to produce, but each of those weeks will include assignments that are linked directly to writing that paper. So in other words, to do well, you should be contributing stuff each week and certainly ask questions and let me know kind of how it's going. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is have one more essay on the tools of literary analysis. Well, let's just take a look at it real quick. This essay covers point of view, minor character, and setting. Of those 3 elements, the one on point of view is the one that actually has further specific terminology to it, and that one is the one you actually get quizzed on. I think the next thing is a quiz. Yeah, it's pretty short, simple, multiple choice quiz on point of view, just to see if you did understand the 4 different terms and get the overall concept. Once you do that, I'm asking you to read this short story, The Red Convertible. Now, the reason I'm asking you to read this short story is because I think it's fairly similar in its tone and length and complexity to the kind of stories that you're going to be assigned for the paper number 1. And I start using the Red Convertible for paper number 1 and for paper number 2. It's my main example story. So I'll use it and I'll do my literary analysis, show you example what I'm talking about with this story, and it'll come up again for paper number 2. So you want to read Red Convertible, plus it'll come up again this week. There is discussion number 5, which is graded discussion, and we'll ask you to answer some questions using literary terminology, everything we've had up to now, and the characters and events in this story. So you're going to have to post something there to the class. You have to basically pick one of these questions, put your response, post it to the class, and then as a class, the full discussion page will kind of show us an analysis of the story. All right, once that's done, I give you your prompt for paper number 1. The prompt basically breaks you into 4 groups. You'll see that your name should be next to one of these 4 stories, and that is your story assignment for paper number 1. You are not responsible for the other stories, only the story where your name is. If you do not see your name on this list, that's a big problem. Contact me immediately, all right? So the stories themselves are all listed here at the bottom, but first you ought to read like what's going to happen with these stories. What am I supposed to be doing? I give you kind of a breakdown what you're going to be doing in this paper. The stories are all down here at the bottom in various PDF readers. If for some reason you cannot see your story, you let me know. Again, you only do the story that you were assigned. Your job is to read it. I recommend pretty strongly that people read their story twice. Maybe not right away, but basically when I read a story on the level of these kind of stories, reading it once just kind of gets me through the story. It doesn't help me. I'm really not ready to analyze at that point. Is reading it a second time, maybe with a pencil in my hand or something. I'm taking little notes to myself, just kind of remarking, coming up with ideas and things. Oh, I get this better now. At that point, I can make an analysis. But your paper will be on this story, so kind of get ready for that. The discussion number 6 following that is basically one where you will only be answering questions for your story group. So, for example, if you did Woman Hollering Creek, if that was a story you read, that's all you're going to see here. You're going to answer these questions for Woman Hollering Creek, and the only people who are going to see these answers are other people in your group. I do want you to actually kind of discuss the story among yourself a little bit. Now, keep in mind, even though you are in a group with these other people reading this story, you guys are not you're not writing a paper together. You will be writing your own individual paper. But in the group discussions we have, if somebody comes up with ideas you agree with, think are good ideas, you're certainly welcome to use those ideas or to incorporate them into your own ideas when you prepare your paper. All right, and finally there's a mechanics grammar review. This is the first one on punctuation. We had 2 reviews that talked about this, what is a sentence and how to recognize sentences. And now we're talking about the mistakes that happen when people don't recognize sentences. And these are all examples of mistakes where people are trying to jam more than one sentence together. So it's some kind of simple exercise at the end. Basically, and that is it, I believe. I think that's all it is. So basically, yeah, then you get to week 5. Basically, this is a fairly easy week to me, and it's mainly to get you ready and caught up previous stuff, and now you are ready to move on to paper number 1. Week 5, week 6, week 7 are all more writing intensive. So if you've been thinking, when's the writing coming? It's after this week, and my advice would be to make sure you are ready for it, because it's probably more time consuming than the stuff that just involves reading. As always, let me know how you're doing. If there's a problem, let me know, or get hold of me. If you need a Zoom meeting with me, let me know about that too. No crypto today. He was a bad boy, so I didn't let him come out here. But yeah, I'll forgive him in about a minute. All right, everybody, get started on that work. Let me know if you have questions.